Have you decided to pursue a custody modification action in order to increase or decrease the amount of parenting time either you get or the other parent gets, and you're not looking to change who's the primary custodian of the child? Well, that's a calendar modification like we discussed earlier. My name is Patrick Slaughter. I'm with LaFevor and Slaughter. I want to give you some information about what that is and what you need to be able to prove in order to accomplish a calendar modification. Essentially, the law says you have to prove there's been a substantial and material change in circumstances that makes the current plan not workable or not in the child's best interest. And of course, the plan that you're proposing has to be considered to be in the child's best interest. So what is a substantial and material change of circumstances? Well, that's a pretty wide area. Lots of things have been considered to be substantial material changes in circumstances. Generally, it is any change in conditions since the time the previous parenting plan was signed or ordered that significantly impact the child and the living circumstances of the child, so that either one parent has more time available to be able to be with the child, or perhaps one parent has simply not been exercising their time with the child. The most common things that we see are where parents have moved on with their lives. One parent has remarried and now has children with another spouse and is no longer exercising the time that's allotted them under the parenting plan. That's a fairly common situation, and when that happens, it doesn't make sense to have a plan that gives somebody, say, 150 days and they're only exercising maybe 85 of those days. So that would be a substantial material change in circumstances. Another substantial material change in circumstances that happens pretty regularly is somebody's work schedule changes. We've had several fathers that have been over-the-road truck drivers, and then they got out of that career to do something else. Or we've had several military folks who have retired from the military or are no longer in service, and now they're able to be located generally where the child is at, and they'd like to exercise more time. A court is pretty much going to look at those as significant and substantial material changes in circumstances. There can be a lot of other things, though. It could be just the child's development. It could be things associated with the child and their well-being. It could be a whole lot of different things, but they just have to be important, and they have to be important regarding co-parenting. One thing that they can't be is just because the child says, I think I'd rather live with parent one as opposed to parent two. Child's preferences are not alone sufficient to just modify a parenting plan. Now, when you go to file an action based on a substantial material change in circumstances, you have to be prepared to prove it, and you have to be prepared to meet a burden of proof. And we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But by and large, if you're going to try to change the amount of co-parenting time between parents, and you're not changing who has primary custody of the child, then you're going to be pursuing a calendar modification. And to be successful in that, you have to prove that there's been a substantial and material change in circumstances such that the current plan is no longer in the child's best interest and a new arrangement would be. I hope that helps and clears up things a little bit. Again, my name is Patrick Slaughter. If any of this is confusing, feel free to leave me a message or pick up the phone, give me a call. If we can help you, we're happy to do that.